Just got a Twitch notification from my own live on Twitch. In here, Lindor just homered. Mets probably gonna win. Is that a Juan Soto off the wall? My eye hurts. Gang pulling up to the chat. Where you at? Where you at? Somebody say what's up. I knew Levi was gonna pull up and say what's up. Noti squad. It's dope you do this live on Twitter. Yeah, you know, it's needed. I had a eureka moment around Christmas going into January. I read an article about radio, about streaming, and some people think radio is dying. It'll never actually die because it's such an intimate platform. It's so one-to-one, and you can listen to the radio while you clean, while you drive, while you work out. But that's over here. I've been doing the radio show this is my fourth season, fourth year, audio only. Once in a while, there'll be a couple clips that WFAN will put out. But then I read an article about live streaming and how if you have a following and if you have the ability to go live, you should be going live every day. And I was like, I do go live every day on the radio at night. And then I also read something about how, I just put two and two together as far as like me being on at nighttime, right? There's a lot of cities in the United States where they automate the nighttime. Here in New York, ESPN radio sometimes is automated where you're hearing a national show. At WFAN, you always have a live host. 888-808-1019 if you want to call in. You can always talk to one of us live. But the eureka moment for me was like, all right, if I go live while I'm live on air, it's 11:46, about to be 11:47 at night. Majority of the people listening, if you gave them the opportunity to listen and watch, would they? I think so. I haven't promoted it that much, but like, if you're not driving a car, if you're not on the clock, if you're not in the gym, if you're not doing something that takes your eyes away, you can watch and be in the chat. So
give me like 5 minutes in there.
Fuck. I just went live, so I got to end my live.
No, you know what?
No, it's okay. I can come over there.
I think we can do it. We'll start in here with the update. Let me just
As I say that, I'm all set up in this studio. Rami's producing, and when we go from the next day, there is a little bit of a throw. I don't know. I never produced. I'm a hired gun. I got paid to come in here and talk. I got paid to come in here and figure it out how to be a radio host from being a podcaster. And I don't really know the back end of it, but it's funny. I just go live to try and get ahead of this here. And then Rami comes in like, yo, can you go in the other studio? I'm like, I just went live. And it's my first time with the actual, like I told you guys, I got the 4K digital camera from my home studio set up finally to go live here. So without further ado, man, in the chat, appreciate y'all pulling up. What a night. Levi, what up? LG said it's dope you do this live on Twitter. DFA Williams, for the love of God, he sucks. What's good, Keith? Jersey Shore. Sure thing. Dario Davis, Double D. Not even Devin Williams can ruin my night. There's the energy you need. Too bad for me, I'm not a Knicks fan. I like basketball. I like the NBA. I've never missed the playoffs, but like, all I can say is that was a really exciting game. My heart wasn't in it. I do hate the Celtics, though, so. What's up? What a Knicks win. The Knicks have played the best games in this NBA playoffs. They have had the most entertaining games in the playoffs. Keith, I've been waiting to say, let's go Knicks, baby. Go ahead. Go ahead. I turned my Knicks hater energy down a long time ago. Honestly, because of Brunson, bro. I don't know how you can hate on Brunson. I hated on Brunson a couple years ago, and one of my homies checked me on that. And him being a Jersey guy and an Illinois guy and a Philly guy, and just him being an underdog, a undersized guy that plays like that. It's hard for me to hate on him. And then with Karl Anthony Towns, another Jersey cat, it's hard for me to hate on this bunch. I didn't hate on him last year when they had a cast of characters that it seemed like nobody wanted. Not lottery picks, not big money guys, from Brunson to Hart to iHeart to DiVincenzo. You can come in. So I can't hate on these Knicks. I probably don't want to hear them, but I have to hear them, and we're probably gonna have to play them at some point.
Last two that I just put in are
Devin, I'm cooking his ass. There's no way I can't. There's no way I can't destroy.
That's why I came to give you this. I was like,
He pitches in more losses than wins. He's feeble.
He says he found something, and tonight doesn't change that.
Okay.
That's like the fourth.
No, it does though.
That's like the fourth worst thing.
Cue him up. Fleegs will probably get here, and I'll have Fleegs throw to him. Rami's gonna probably switch and be out. But we have to play that, and I have to break that down. And I'm definitely going at Devin Williams because enough is enough, bro. Tonight was the first night where I'm like, okay, they got to trade him.
I think they need him to figure it out.
No, you can't trade him. His value is lower than it's ever been. But tonight was the night where I'm like, I don't want to see him pitch again. That was a perfectly good game that they wasted. So, yeah, man. Cue him up, and I'm sure we'll use him. Are you done at 12?
I won't be done because the Mets.
Oh, right. The Mets game's in the 7th right now. They're going to win. Lindor just homered.
Yeah, they're up 5-1, but I'll still be here.
I'll be here till 2:05. Yeah, Lindor is like that, bro. Lindor is having a hell of a year. As a Knicks hater, can the damn Celtics please stop shooting threes? Bro, what the? I mean, and I think they set a record this year for the most attempts and makes, but like, I'm going to talk about it tonight. They were throwing up so many panic threes. It's not basketball. It's not, at least it's not the basketball that you get taught young and that we like learned. I might be, sounding like a boomer. I might be sounding like an old head, but like, that's not basketball, chucking up the threes. Pass the ball. The whole thing is to try and get the closest look by the rim. I don't know, man. I don't know. New camera setup. Let's go. Hey. What I gotta do is let's see if I can go to I think with the camera hub, now that I have this camera, I can go zoop. Oh, I can go. Oh. Too close, man. Too close, man. Now I don't think I can rotate this, but I don't need to. I don't need to. I don't know. That might be too tight. I think I had it here. I think that's good. Don't need to be that close to the camera, man. I'm not the best looking guy. I'm not the worst looking guy. I don't need to be that close to the camera. Promote more. It's lit to have multiple streams. Well, I gotta sleep, and then I gotta hold baby, and then I gotta do other things. I'm a one-man army. I do promote. You're right though. I should promote right now, Dre, on Instagram, live from New York. Another KM to AM. You heard. Dre, you right, bro. Because don't nobody promote you like you going to promote yourself. That's what I was told, and that's what I know for a fact. Nobody's going to promote you like you promote yourself. So let me tap in on my Instagram story. You guys want to be on my Instagram? All right, now you're going to be on my Instagram story. Ready? Like we do at this time all the time. You're live on the internet. Pull up and join the chat. No, that one was corny. That was corny. What should we say? What should we say on Instagram? It's got to be quick. Ready? All right. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. In five, four, three. All right, going live. Another KM to AM streaming live. Got a bunch of people in the chat, if you can see that. And the Mets game is on. We don't even need to talk about the Yankee game. The Knicks one. Let's talk about it. Pull up. All right, boom. So I'm gonna put the link up there. Boom. KM to AM. This is about to be in 5 minutes. It's AM. Yeah. This is gonna be KM in the AM. KM to AM live on YouTube. The next thing I'm gonna figure out is the true audio. Once I feed the true audio into here, they can't stop me. No, 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 no. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Little zoom, a little tighter. Hold on. I think we're good now. Can I make this a little sharper? Did I freeze? I did freeze, but we are a little sharper on the image. Oh no! A little bit of a lag. Let's see. Will this pick up? A little bit of a lag, but that's okay. Marco in the update coming.
Yep.
Is Rami coming over on this side? Oh, I had my mic muted because we were having conversations with what was going on here. I'm waiting right now. I don't know exactly what is going on here. I'm guessing the Yankees post game is over. Mike says, "Hey Keith, Knicks pull out a great first win to the series. Let's go Knicks. Yankees pissed me off. Also had tickets tonight. Glad I didn't go. Couldn't handle that weather. That's another thing.
Good morning at 12 o'clock. I'm Marco Valletti. Well, the Knicks showing great resolve, rallying from 20 points down in the second half. Jalen Brunson missed a chance to win it in regulation, but Knicks still able to finish off the Celtics in overtime, 108-105 to steal game one on the road.
Great team win. We started well, then we fell into a hole and fought our way out. And then we made tough plays down the stretch.
OG Anunoby, 29 points. He hit 6 of 11 from deep, and Brunson again led the way with 29 as well.
Keep fighting, stick together.
Knicks able to take advantage of the Celtics being 15 of 60 from three. That's 25%. New NBA playoff record, 45 missed threes. Knicks survive. Game two comes Wednesday night. Mets with a 5-1 advantage on the Diamondbacks, top of the eighth inning, looking for a little bit more. Francisco Lindor with a big three-run shot. Pete Alonso's gone deep as well. Griffin Canning with the first five. He was good again. 1 run, 6 hits, 6 strikeouts. Again, the Mets lead the D-backs 5-1, top 8 in the desert. Meanwhile, Jesse Winker's out 6 to 8 weeks dealing with a strained oblique. Padres scored 4 times in the eighth. They stunned the Yankees 4-3. Devin Williams loaded the bases. Luke Weaver unable to shut the door. So the Bombers weigh 6 2/3 scoreless from Carlos Rodon. And the Islanders won the draft lottery. Rangers, they're going to pick 12. 60 degrees, cloudy skies, Central Park. That's what's happening. I'm Marco Valletti.
Your official station to talk New York Knicks. A fan, 1019 FM, and always live on the Free York app. It's AM to AM. WFAN.
It's KM in the AM. It is AM already. Good morning. Good morning. This is a quick show, and I'm glad because I'm chapped. My ass is chapped. I'm pissed off, and I don't want to be. I don't need to be. You know what I need to be? I need to be a neutral media member. I'm working on it. When I first came into the radio and being credentialed media, and I heard about media members having to dress neutral and not wear logos. And a lot of these reporters and writers, they just like take this approach to the game and the teams and the leagues. And it's all business. It's not personal. Yeah, I got to learn to take that approach. Whatever. Anyway, how about those New York Knicks? Belief is needed. Shout out to C-Mac. I remember last year he would do some shows where he talked about the power of belief. When nobody believes, believe. That's what athletes do. That's what they literally get paid to do. That's what they have to do. They have to have a chip on their shoulder. They have to believe that they belong, believe that they can compete, and believe that they can win. What a game last night. 888-808-1019. It is now the 6th day of May. Cinco de Mayo ends. And the Knicks are up 1-0. Knicks in 6, that's still in play. Shout out to Positive Tommy, who had the balls to actually get on the afternoon drive show, Evan and Tiki, and lead with Knicks in 6, and that he believes in the team. And then, like, look what you get. Shout out to you if you're a Knicks fan, a long-suffering Knicks fan that now has a team that you can believe in, even though you guys are super hard on them. Even though the Knicks fan doesn't want to believe, they believe, then they don't believe. This team sucks. They're down 20. They can't beat this team. Oh, we're going to get swept. Wait a minute. Let's go back, right? The Knicks have had the most entertaining games in this early bit of NBA playoffs. Like they're playing and leaning into, the theater of Broadway, the bright lights of New York, New York. But this is the playoffs. It's not the regular season. So throw out the record that the Knicks had going over against the elite teams in the regular season. But think about the last time they played the Celtics in the regular season. They did go to overtime. And that's where you start to believe, right? Hey, last time we saw these guys, last time we were on the floor with these guys, we took them to OT. We barely lost. Even when you go down 20 points, even when guys are getting in early foul trouble, you got to believe. It's the playoffs. This is the time for it. Belief is needed. They fought through 4 quarters and overtime. And do not forget, I put this on Twitter, They were a bad bounce off the glass from ending it in regulation. If that's Brunson in the Garden, that's game in 4 quarters. That layup that just a little bit missed. But yeah, that first half was like, oh no, Celtics, the parquet floors, TD Garden, they call it the Garden, the fake Garden. You can't check them. Bad matchups, and they're shooting the ball. Early in that game, just like Jaylen Brown throws one up, Derek White throws one up, and it's like they are. This is what they do. They shoot threes. They make threes. I think they set a record this year for the most threes taken and made. This is what they do. They have so many guys that can shoot it. All of their guys, except for like Luke Cornett, they have so many guys that can shoot the three that they're going to take hella threes. And I think they'll have a little bit of a different approach. You just heard Marco with the update. They set a record for missed threes. They attempted 60 threes on the night and only hit 15 of them. And you could tell late in the game, they were throwing up some panic threes. But let's not jump to, late in the game yet. Early in the game, I'm writing my notes and I'm watching the game. I'm like, they have too many guys. They have too many options. But you know what? Early in the game, former Knick Kristaps Porzingis goes out. And what did I say, I think a night or 2 nights ago? I said the Celtics have been battling some things. They're battling injuries. And I said Kristaps Porzingis, a hangnail could take him out of the game. That was his flu game. He got sick, a non-COVID related illness. He played 13 minutes and he was out of the game. So that was the first little thing. Zoop, you lose Porzingis, who played a huge part in the last time the Celtics faced the Knicks and went to overtime. He's out. He's gone. I guess to overcompensate for him, they just felt like they had to shoot threes. But that changes who's on the floor or whatever. And I know people wanted to get at Karl Anthony Towns, right? He gets in some early foul trouble. I know, very early in this game, it was looking like, okay, these are the Boston Celtics. I think I clipped early in the game, like in the first quarter, Hart had 2 fouls. Towns had 2 fouls. So when guys get in early foul trouble, you got to think about the whole game, right? We see Precious Achiuwa enter this game for the first time in these playoffs. Why? Because Cat goes out, Mitch comes in, and then like once these guys start getting in foul trouble, you have to. Then you have to use guys off your bench. But man, ultimately early on in that game, right? And I saved the stuff from the first quarter. In the first quarter, the Knicks were shooting better than them. They shot better from 3. Their rebounds were right there. They had more assists, more steals, and there was a lot of turnovers. You felt that too. The first game of a big series, a city rivalry, Boston and New York, there was a lot of jitters, a lot of early turnovers, and just kind of figuring things out. But I'm telling you, where the Celtics went wrong here was chucking the ball up and not playing basketball. I was just in the live chat saying, like, when you learn how to play basketball as a kid and no one can really shoot threes, and as you get older and guys can't shoot, like that, what we're watching is not basketball. That's NBA basketball in modern day times, but you're supposed to get to the hoop. You're supposed to pass the ball until the open guy has the clearest path to lay the ball in or dunk the ball or shoot a closer shot. That's not efficient to shoot all those threes. Anyway, in the second quarter, right, mouse in the house. You start to see like, okay, they're going to try and give the ball to Cat down low with Jaylen Brown on him or whoever gets on him. And there's so much switching in the game. You're realizing like, okay, the Celtics and the Knicks aren't built to beat the Celtics, as many people say. Like the Celtics have a lot of guys, whether it's Tatum, whether it's Brown, and then Pritchard comes off the bench, 6th man of the year. I thought he was going to start getting it going. Even Luke Cornett had a couple buckets, and it's looking like a bad matchup. But it's a tale of 2 halves. It's a complete tale of 2 halves. They even, and it's funny because there's always a negative lean towards New York. There's always like the national audience. They hate New York, and I get it. But they flashed the stat. It was like a Cinco de Mayo stat, like sponsored by Corona. And it said 24 years without a conference appearance for the New York Knicks. Basically foreshadowing that, like, hey, they're playing the defending champs, and they're not going to get out of this series. Man, early in the day yesterday, in the afternoon, I turned to EEI, the Boston station, because on the Odyssey app, like right now, we're streaming on the free Odyssey app. If you wanted to, you could turn to hear what they're saying in Boston. I don't know if they have a live night show. We do here, 888-808-1019. If you remember what happened yesterday and you want to chime in. But, I always like to get a feel for what they're talking about. Like I did this when the Yankees were playing against the Kansas City Royals. I'm like, I want to hear what they're talking about in the other cities. They don't take as many calls. And they also don't understand. Like they were talking about the Knicks and how much guys get paid. And I swear one of their hosts were like, OG Anunoby, why does he make that much? Well, they found out. And you know what I wanted to find out? I wanted to find out if the Knicks were going to come out in the second half and learn from their mistakes in the past, learn from their mistakes, lay up lines, get it going, and have a good third quarter because they had been down 20 points. And the power of belief comes in. Shout out to Madison, who is a Yankee fan, Knicks fan, Giant fan. Let me see if I can find her handle to give her credit because like her belief in the Knicks, it honestly made me laugh, but it was solid. Madison, Major League Mad with 2 Ds. She wrote on Twitter, she's like, this 20-point comeback is going to be insane. And I laughed, but like belief is needed until the game is over, until the fat lady sings, until it goes 0-0-0. You got to believe that they could come back. And clearly the Knicks did. You have the most clutch player in the game. First time ever clutch player of the year is awarded. You have guys like OG Anunoby, who I just mentioned. Like now you see, like this guy's a champion. He has a ring. This guy plays defense. This guy also can get into his offensive bag. And when you need a guy like that in moments like that, he shows up. He doesn't shrink in the moment. And man, I felt like the Knicks coming out of that Pistons series and even playing 6 games versus the Celtics playing 5, I feel like that might have helped because it's a long time off. And honestly, the Celtics, they look cold. They look like they took the Knicks lightly. And they look like, they took their foot off the gas. I remember there was a part where in the third quarter where Joe Mazzulla, he took a timeout and he was clearly frustrated. And the Knicks were coming out to win that third quarter. And OG, they kept leaving OG open and he's hitting threes. So that 20-point lead evaporates. And the Knicks go on a run to cut the lead down to 11. I'm like, oh, this game is riveting. Like we got a real game here, folks. And then the fourth quarter, you guys all know what happened in the fourth quarter. They made it a game. They were trailing by 20. And when you get into the fourth quarter and you're cutting the lead down, now we're getting into Jalen Brunson territory. And let me just say, like watching Jalen Brunson play, it doesn't make any sense how good that guy is. But like the Knicks got one in him and they got to figure it out sooner rather than later, how to get him to the Eastern Conference finals so that he can do like how clutch he is. And I know that layup to win it skipped off the glass a little high and past the rim. Doesn't matter because they won. But the performance he was putting on in clutch time, I'm like, they're going to win this game. They're going to steal this first game. And if you want to think that you have a series, you got to steal that first game. They always say the series doesn't start until the road team wins. Well, the series started. 888-808-1019. There were so many little moments. Like when the Knicks took the lead, you could tell, you could see people's faces. Brunson is just doing his 3 celebration, and you could see the people courtside. Shout out to the Bell Biv DeVoe, Michael Bivens in the building. Kevin Millar sitting courtside for obviously one reason, of course, New York versus Boston. But I knew Brunson is a killer. I'm like, he was just short, but man, he starts hitting threes. He starts figuring it out. Like, you know what? Some of that they called a double dribble. They called I forget when I saw people like a carry, double dribble. What minute was that? Where I was like, this game has everything. A discontinued dribble turnover with 2:35 left when it was 97-95. And Brunson is starting to get double teamed. They're sending people at him, and he's trying to find the right guy. He turned one over looking for Josh Hart. But at the, ultimately, Mikal Bridges, with his defense and him rising to the occasion, OG Anunoby, right? Mikal Bridges plays 51 minutes. You got to give him credit. You got to give him props. Stealing the ball, how he shut down Jaylen Brown at the end. Like, that's playoff basketball. That's championship level basketball. When most guys shrink in those moments, like there's a reason that like Brunson and McHale are college champions. OG is a champion. Hart is a champion. Like in those moments, you got to have a slow heartbeat. You got to let the game come to you, and they did. They did. I was very impressed with the overtime, the huge steal that led to the 3-point play for OG with Bridges. I'm like, it does not matter how many points he did not have. The biggest stat for Bridges, when you talk about an Iron Man, he could have 8 points. 51 minutes. This guy stays on the floor. He is guarding everyone. He had 7 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks, and just like in crucial moments, he is there. OG is there. And of course, you can count on Brunson. And not to, discount Karl Anthony Towns, who had 13 rebounds, but you know what I'm saying with Cat. Sometimes he plays small, and sometimes like, man, when he fouled when he fouled Jaylen Brown before the shot, just on the transfer, like he was playing with fire. You almost put him on the line to shoot 3. I'm trying to go back into my notes for little things here, but the game ended so long ago, and obviously the Yankee game, the Yankees waited to blow it. After the euphoria of the Knicks shocking the world, beating the Celtics, and taking a 1-0 lead in overtime, the New York Yankees have to, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. 888-808-1019. As the Knicks calls are coming in, I'll take some Yankee calls as well because this is going to be a quick show. The show will be over in an hour and 20 minutes with the breaks and everything. I don't know. It won't be long at all. But that's a stupid game to lose. That's a stupid ass game to lose. One, it was delayed to start, and then it was delayed during the game, and you had the game. And that's a Carlos Rodon start where, again, Carlos Rodon has started to figure it out, and he's started to really pitch, and you waste another Carlos Rodon outing. You waste a day where, like, somehow you were able to get the game in. You were up 3-0, right? I just, with Devin Williams, I'm done. And it's not just Devin Williams. It's the decision to go to Devin Williams. We get a Trent Grisham bashful homer. He bashes homers, and he's too bashful to even look at him. That's my new thing for Trent Grisham. The bashful basher. TG12 method of hitting home runs and looking away. He looks so ashamed when he homers. The Yankees playing in the pouring rain, they stopped the game, and that's another thing with this, like, we got to figure out how to like play the season later, and they got to shorten the season because it's not a home field advantage for the Yankees playing in the rain and MLB making these games get played against West Coast teams. And it's like, I know we have this balanced schedule now. It's like, we got to play these games, but one, it's unsafe for the players running around in the rain, whatever, something can happen. 2, the pitchers can't control the ball. 3, they play through the rain trying to get these outs and innings in, and they can't preserve the field. The field becomes literally unplayable. Like, you got to get the tarp on. It's ridiculous to watch. Shout out to you if you went to the stadium. I've refused. I'm not going. I've done it before. I'm not going there when it's raining. It's just not worth it. 888-808-1019. But ultimately, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. You lose that game 4-3. You were up 3-0 in the 8th inning. You give up 4 runs in the 8th. And everybody's at fault. Luke Weaver's at fault. Devin Williams obviously at fault. And Aaron Boone is at fault. He gave his answer in the post game, and now look, this is a losing streak, and here's another game back to back where manager makes a decision, and fans are gonna say this guy doesn't know what he's doing. Oh, that was almost a grand slam. I'm watching this Mets game live in here, off the wall in center. Mets were up 5-1. Now they're up 5-4. If you're watching that, but anyway, let me finish my rant with the Devin Williams stuff. He's feeble. He's soft. He is not right. And even though he had some good outings, it's not enough. It's a small sample size. One, I feel like we just can't pitch him in Yankee Stadium, and that's a problem. 2, he has no command. You walk Tyler Wade. You guys all know Tyler Wade. Like, you can't be walking Tyler Wade. It's a recipe for disaster. And I don't know. It sucks that like you have that game against a good team. That's another thing. It's a good team. There's a reason why the Padres are 23-11. The Yankees should have that record. That's another thing with the Yankees, right? They blew this, and New York Yankees stats put out the Yankees have 5 losses when leading in the 8th inning or later. That's the most in MLB. That's not acceptable. That's an unacceptable loss. 888-808-1019. And that's an unacceptable spot. And I get it. He said, Fernando Cruz pitched the other day. And even though Cruz only had 2 pitches, they have a plan to use Devin Williams there. And it's just stupid. Devin Williams he's been a complete disappointment. He's someone that doesn't look like he fits here with the Yankees. And I know that they're going to just keep trying to work it out. They're going to keep trying to fix him. And we just got to deal with like the games being dropped and losing games like that. And then Luke Weaver is forced to like, all right, Luke, come in early, save the day. And it's raining and it's just a bad situation. So that's a tough loss. That's a stupid loss. And I blame Devin Williams. Every time he's in there, more than not, they lose. If you go and look at his appearances this year, they have lost more than they've won. Most of them turn out bad. And like, you can't be a $8 million number 1 ranked reliever in MLB Network's rankings and just like be this inconsistent and this bad. You're not even in the closer spot. Like they already took you out of that. And like, you can't just come in and throw strikes. Please come in and throw strikes. So the Yankees lose. They lose not long after Devin Williams gets pulled. Luke Weaver comes in and like Luke Weaver can't save us every time. Luke Weaver has been great, but like this is baseball. It's just not gonna work like that. It's not gonna work like that. So stupid game. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. 888-808-1019. Can I take a call here, please? I think I can take a call here before we go to break. Thomas is in Queens. What's up, Thomas? You're on the fan.
Oh, okay, Keith. Now, I just want to say one thing, very simple, very short. The Celtics lost that game because there was no Chris Porzingis basically in the game. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah. And I I don't know, maybe we got some callers that are Celtics fans. We got some Boston people checking in. How I said I was checking in. Like they were very confident up there on the radio today. There was a lot said on the Boston radio that I caught today on WEEI. Basically, they were saying they expect a sweep, but people don't want to be too confident. Basically, they were saying that like nobody expects the Knicks to be able to win a game, but like most people are going to say gentleman sweep to just be, well, you lost one. You lost the first one in your building. And if we can make excuses and say it was all Kristaps Porzingis, we'll see about that. 888-808-1019. But I said, he was out with a non-COVID related illness. He played 13 minutes, but this is a championship team. They've got all-stars. They've got depth. They blew the Knicks out during the season without Porzingis. So what happened tonight? Let's go to Houston, Texas, and talk to Liam on the fan in New York. What's up, Liam?
Hey, what's up, Keith? All I gotta say is, go New York, go New York, go New York, go! Oh man, Jalen Brunson and these Knicks, man, they just don't give up. They come back from behind. But listen, we did it this time, but the Celtics ain't the Pistons. We can't keep on coming back from behind. It's just not gonna happen again and again and again. But for tonight, go New York, go New York, go New York, go!
Enjoy it. Thanks for the call, Liam, all the way out in Houston, Texas, right? And I know you're a Yankee fan, Knicks fan out there. Enjoy it. The Rockets are eliminated. And the same way I was on, I think it was the last Thursday when the Knicks beat the Pistons and people wanted to jump into the Celtics conversation. I'm like, yo, just live in it. And I like to let people enjoy things. For real. I'm not a Knicks fan, but I'm a basketball fan and a radio host in New York. Like, there's nothing to hate on. If you are watching this series, if you are watching how the Knicks have played in these playoffs, that was arguably the best game of these playoffs. That game in itself, all of the question marks that you had about the Knicks, their toughness, their resilience, like they were down 20, they could have packed it up. They could have literally sank into themselves and what the world said about them, oh, they can't rock with the Celtics. They're going to get blown out. They're going to get – and they fought and they scrapped and they clawed their way back. and took that game in a hostile environment, took that game in their building. Like, if you're a fan, how do you not love that? How does that not make you love Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, like this team, right? Like, belief is needed right now. If you're going to shock the world, it starts with belief. They're up 1-0. So now, what's setting into the minds of the Celtics? Oh, well, then, like, all right, is Kristaps going to be back for the next game? Yo, we just set a record for the most missed threes. Yo, they are kind of tough. They almost beat us in regulation. That ball barely missed. Brunson almost beat. We can't. Now it's in their head. Brunson strikes fear into opponents' hearts. And fatigue makes a coward out of all of us. That's what they say in sports, right? Fatigue makes a coward out of all of us. When you get tired and you don't have your legs, you are not shooting the same. They were chucking up prayers, and they had this little demon with braids, number 11, that they knew he is an assassin. He is here to kill. He is out for blood. And if we let him get it, like if we let him get his little moves off, boop, boop, all right, that's a foul. If you let him get an open three, he's draining the three with ease, like he's in practice. Ray is in Brooklyn on the fan. You got it, Ray.
Yo, Keith, you know we family by association of the Yankees organization, and let me tell you, I ain't calling about the Yankees, but Devin Williams, bro, in the words of Tiki Barber, dude is dead to me, man. Like, but I don't even want to off from that.
Word. Enough of Devin Williams already. I'm good. Today was the first day that I was like, trade him. And I know they can't trade him, but I'm like, I don't want to go through the experiment anymore. Let's keep it with the Knicks.
It's so crazy, man. But yeah, so with the Knicks, I'm about to body a bunch of people who were, always trolling Mikal Bridges over those 5 early second round picks because the Knicks are going to be so good. Those are going to be like the 28, 29, 30th pick of the draft. And you know what? We ain't in the Knicks organization, and Keith, I know you're an Nets fan, so I'm including you from this. I'm talking to the other 5 Nets fans out there. So like we not in the business of, drafting babies and kids and hoping that they turn out to be men and be sons. We got grown ass men on this squad right now doing big things. We're not about hope. We're about winning right now. So y'all can keep them little whack ass picks and hope that those little kids turn out to be something.
Bro, it's so quiet for the Nets. It's not even worth it, bro. People asking me, why am I not talking about the Nets? There's nothing to talk about, bro. And like those picks, there's nothing to talk about. Like Mikal Bridges' pick, when he intercepted that ball from going out of bounds and threw it back in, like that is worth one pick in itself. Like what he did today, what he did in the just back-to-back games for Mikal Bridges. That's what you got him for. Imagine if you had him last year. That was the whole thing, right? Imagine we had a Mikal Bridges in the playoffs. He's showing you his worth. In the regular season, whatever, that's done. But like he is helping you. He helped you close out against the Pistons. He helped you take the first game against the Celtics. You could argue without some of his plays, that doesn't happen.
Yo, Keith, and a big pause before I say this, but homeboy got cojones because I don't care what the final box score looks like, right? Because against Detroit, he had 2 big ass threes in a big spot in the fourth quarter, right? He made big defensive plays. I know OG gets all the love for the defense, but people have been wearing Mikal Bridges like a suit. He's been all over, dude. He's been talking and stuff. He's been backing it up. He's hitting big shots. And he's playing like a dog. That's all we need, man, because we already got light-skinned black Jesus right there with the braids, like you said. On the planet. And let's go. Everybody said Kenny Cunningham, best player on the floor. Yeah, everybody said best player on the floor is Tatum or Brown. Yeah, he's doubting my son right there, man. He's basketball. God resurrected. Thank you, family. I love you, man. Have a great night.
Thanks for the call, Ray. 888-808-1019 as we hit 12:30. I just saw in my chat, and I'm going to check to see if this is true. Goat with lightning bolts writes, Aaron Gordon buzzer beater versus the Thunder. All the underdogs take road wins so far. And I'm like, let me go make sure that's valid. But either way, I'm seeing the Nuggets do beat OKC 121-119. Let me go look for the video and I can just check the play-by-play. But anyway, hey, the playoffs are on. This is the NBA. The Cavs lost to the Pacers. The Celtics lost to the Knicks. The Thunder lost to Denver. So that means we're going to have some series, folks. We're going to have some series, folks. 888-808-1019. Keith McPherson on the Fan. Call me up to talk Knicks and talk basketball. Don't go anywhere. We're coming right back. What's up, Fleegs? I know there was a lot going on with you coming in. Yo, so we're open for business now. 888-808-1019. I have 3 calls. I've already taken 3 calls. The Mets were up 5-1. Now they're up 5-4. Top of the 9th here. They have a runner on third for an extra insurance run. Juan Soto at the plate. The Mets can't blow this one, or there's going to be some unhappy campers. Anyway, let me hit the chat and see what y'all on in this chat. Mad people in the chat. See, another eureka moment that I had was, once I started doing this, I'm like, once the games end, like the Mets are playing in Arizona, so there's a 3-hour time difference. But once the games end in the East Coast in New York, there's nothing live for people to watch where they're talking about it, unless somebody's doing like a podcast or a YouTube. Well, I'm doing a YouTube show, but like if you're a night owl, if you're still hype off the Knicks win, if you're still pissed about the Yankee game, if you're watching this Met game and you want to talk to other people in the chat about it, if you want to listen to a host talk about it and take calls and we kind of talk all around these things, like it's Monday through Friday, it's a decent thing that I have stumbled upon. I'm going to keep it going. So let's see what you guys were saying while I was doing the show. I think you thought I was muted. I wasn't muted before. I was muted, but like that was intentional because we were having conversations more inside baseball. At 12 o'clock, new day starts, new shift starts for the producer. So Rami Lavi was here and he switched with Michael Fliegelman. And during that switching process, studios got switched. They had to come in and get settled. And then also the update guy, Marco Belletti, he didn't know whether he had to go to that studio or stay here or whatever. So I didn't want y'all to hear all of the like clerical stuff. That's why the mic was off. Keith loved the hairstyle. Thanks. Just my locks braided up. Odyssey has sound. I think it was Jack last night who says he pauses YouTube and lines up Odyssey in his headphones with the video stream. But I'm working on that. I have a couple ways that I can get the true audio into StreamYard. I've already tried. I'm 0 for 2 so far, but give me some time. It'll get there. I always do everything on my own and don't ask for help, and I don't really want to ask for help. I don't want to talk to IT about it. There's nobody here. There's like, who am I going to talk to here to help set that up? Now, that's something in my notes that I was going to get to, especially as we were talking about the picks with the Brooklyn Nets. Hopefully the Nets can have the luck that the Islanders have or just had. I'll get to it. The next time somebody mentions the picks that were traded for Mikal Bridges and the Brooklyn Nets, I'll hit on it. I mean, they're missing guys, even though Volpe was back in the lineup. You got Dominguez coming into the game late. No Yankees cap today. I got the fresh fade in the braids, so I'm showing it off, bro. A lot of guys are bald. No shade to my coworkers here that are bald, but like in general, a lot of guys are bald or receding hairlines or thinning hair, and they don't got it. So if you got it, you got to flaunt it. I always would be a ball cap guy though. I just, since I was a kid, wore hats. Did tonight give you more faith in the Knicks? No. I already had faith that they could get a game. I still have Celtics in 5. Not being a hater, I had Celtics in 5 the whole way. I still have Celtics in 5 because I think now you're going to see a different approach from the Celtics. And Kristaps is going to play. And then, well, I think, Evan's take I saw about like it being a bigger upset than the Giants Patriots Super Bowl, but that was the end. That was a one game. That's why you can't even, I don't know. I would never make analogies like that or comparisons like that because it's a series. I'm like, what's a bigger upset series? It's different series versus one game. In reality, the Knicks have won one game. They might not win another one. Derek White was like 4 from 16 from 3. Why the hell is he taking? That's what I'm saying, bro. They were bugging out. Porzingis is the definition of a soft player. Yeah, I'm not feeling good. I'm out. Like, you got to champ it out. Yeah. So when I first came on the fan and the Nets had KD and Kyrie and the Knicks had RJ Barrett and Julius Randle, that was one thing. It's different now. It's completely different now. There's no need to talk about the Nets now. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Return of Mac. K-Mac and then C-Mac coming up next. 888-808-1019 on the Fan in New York. The Knicks have won. Yes. The New York Knicks beat the Celtics. No one thought that they could. Not the first game. Not for nothing, though. Some Knicks fans were saying, hey, we're going to make this a series. We do have to take the first game. And if you think about it, yeah. The opening of the series, you got to punch them in the mouth. You got to set a tone. You got to surprise them a little bit. And that's why I go back to, okay, coming off of the Detroit series in 6, you were on the court last. They had a little bit extra rest. And also the tougher series that you played versus what they did. Ooh, I'm watching this Mets game in here too. Edwin Diaz that was almost an ankle. That was almost a collision at first base, trying to cover first base. Corbin Carroll running. Anyway, in the Mets game, bottom 9th here, runner on first, 5-4 Mets lead. Edwin Diaz on. And in my chat, I probably had 5 different people say Devin Williams or Edwin Diaz. And I said neither. That is a hell of a play. Francisco Alvarez. Show the replay. Just threw the runner out at second trying to steal. To get that runner off and get the first out of the inning. Anyway, but back to the Knicks. The Knicks shocked the world tonight. Shout out to you if you bet the Knicks. Shout out to you if you believed in the Knicks. And let's continue talking about it. There's so many different ways to look at it. Let's go to Long Island and talk to Pat on the Fan next. What's up, Pat?
I don't know for the game, but I'm not talking about that. I watched the back half. I'm very, very excited to be a believer. I needed to see one of the 2 steals, and we won the first one. But because of this team, I'm excited. They were just, I look at it the other way, unfortunately. That 25% 3-point shooting still took us to overtime and almost won. So I'm still uncomfortable, and like they.
Oh, don't get comfortable. These are the defending champs, and what I said, so I'm live, and during the break, I'm having conversations too. And my boy Dalton in the chat, he said, "Does this change your belief in the Knicks?" Like, I'm talking about the power of belief. I'm not a Knicks fan. I don't have to believe in them. I predicted Celtics in 5, which is still in play. I'm telling you, you're going to see a different approach. You're going to see a different looking team the rest of the way. And just know that the Celtics are not going to come out there. They're going to shoot threes, but they're going to have a little bit of a different look and approach. That was how they got. And like I said, they were chucking up threes. Brunson strikes fear into their hearts. They are chucking up threes when they just need 2s. And Brunson is hitting his threes and finding, I just think that it was a great game for the Knicks to steal in overtime. They could have won it in regulation, but these are the defending champs. They do have good players. They may have Kristaps Porzingis back, which will change how they play on the floor, and you will see them attack the basket more. You will see them go for more points in the paint. They did have, a decent amount of points in the paint early in the game, but they went away from it. It was like they were addicted to throwing up threes, all of them. Derek White, Like if you actually go and look at the box score, not the team stats, but when you actually go and look, like Jaylen Brown, 1 for 10. Derek White, 5 for 16. Jason Tatum, 4 for 15. Drew Holiday, 2 for 7. They were just chucking them up, and that's not a recipe for success.
Absolutely. And then I'll just make it because I did go to the game. Devin Williams, he needs. Yeah, I'm in the same boat to trade. It was a project gone wrong, but I will say that this is the first time. What's his name came out? Didn't look too good.
Luke Weaver in the rain having to, jump into duty because he's got to, pick up for Devin Williams who couldn't get it done. Like I will excuse that because Luke Weaver's not going to be nails all the time. And it's just like, it's just too much change. It's too much. Thanks for the call, Pat. It's just too much in the first like month and a week of the season to go from Luke, you're the setup guy. Devin Williams is the closer. Oh, now he can't close. We need you to close. Oh, now he can't even be the setup guy. It's just like in the rain against a good team. You had a 3-run lead, and with runners on, they put bat to ball, and you get got. The Yankees are in a bad one right now. The Yankees have blown 5 games in the 8th inning. Like it's unacceptable. But this is what happens. We saw it happen. It made me think of Michael King, who we'll see on the mound tonight. If you remember, in 2022, we needed Michael King coming out of the pen, and he had to warm up. He had to rush his warm up to save Aroldis Chapman's ass. Aroldis Chapman was the closer, and he couldn't go in and get the job done. So they get Michael King up quick, and then he goes in. And I remember being on the fan that night talking about it. I'm like, I blame Chapman. You were like, oh, his arm was going to go anyway. It was just a matter of time. I'm like, well, maybe it wouldn't have been that time if he didn't have to rush his warm-up and come into the game. So everybody's at fault. Aaron Boone is at fault. Devin Williams is at fault. Luke Weaver is at fault. And the Yankee lineup score more than 3 runs. Though it's all their fault. And Major League Baseball, you're at fault too for playing that stupid game in the rain delay, and then a delayed start and then a rain delay. But no, ultimately that's a game that the Yankees have to win, and that was just dumb. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And Edwin Diaz is pumped. That's a win for the Mets. 5-4. Mets take the first game in Arizona and right the ship a little bit here. So I'm sure we'll have incoming Mets calls any moment now. 888-808-1019 as we talk about the winter Mets, the New York Knicks, who take the first game in Boston. Robbie and Lennox back on the fan. What's up, Robbie?
Keith McPherson for free. Yes, I'm a foul. Keith, you know what? Let me tell you something. You know what? I'm glad they won, but tonight shows that you talk about stupid games and stupid prizes. I mean, this was like the pure stupidity of the NBA tonight. Only this modern day NBA where the Knicks could shoot 50% of the foul. Why could the Celtics lose and be as dumb for the 3-point strike? I mean, honestly, the first caller tonight is blaming the fact that Porzingis was out. I mean, as a little boy, I'm a little boy, and here comes Willis Reed limping on the court. He scores 4 points the first 2 baskets, and the Knicks beat Will Chamberlain and the Lakers. Okay, so I don't want to hear about Porzingis being hurt. That's nonsense. When you take all the shots, 60 shots from 3-point shot land, that's just dumb. So I give the Knicks a lot of credit for coming back tonight. They showed resilience, okay? They showed resilience. They haven't won there all year. As much as I can't stand the modern day NBA, I give them a lot of credit, Keith, okay? But, I got to tell you something. I mean, years ago, you would have appreciated the game so much more because I know how much you love basketball, but it's just no sharing the basketball. Like, here's the interesting thing. 1:47 seconds left in the game. The Celtics have a 1-point lead, and yet they choose to shoot 2 shots, 3.
They couldn't help it. They could not help themselves. They had already missed 40, 50.
It's like watching John Starks and having a bad headache. But the 84, you remember thinking John Starks going 3 for 8.
You would think after they missed 30, 35, 40, 45, a record that somebody would say no more threes. Pass the ball, get to the hoop, attack, try to draw a foul. It's not working. But no, that's what they've done all year. Chuck up threes. So
yeah, it's dumb. And everything you said about Major League Baseball is correct. But tonight's game was so frustrating. I flipped on the Yankee game. They're up 3-0. Here's my problem. Cruz has been really good all year. Why do you have to put?
I knew they were going to get got. 2 pitches and nope. They said because he pitched the other. I don't care about the past games. Keep him in this game that we're in and take him out if he needs to be taken out. Devin Williams, at least they took Devin Williams out when he needed to be taken out, but then you put Weaver in a tough spot.
See, I'm all too. When we're down Cyril along, to me, I know it's early in the season, but when we're down Cyril along, why can't Rodon just come out and pitch the damn next inning? Why do you have to switch him all the time?
Well, we had the break in the game. The second rain delay. I thought we were gonna lose Rodon with the second rain delay.
Right.
Yeah, it's fine. It is what it is. I mean, it sucks. It sucks. You shouldn't lose a 3-0 game in the 8th inning.
Absolutely, I agree.
At home.
You know what? This team is. You know what? Also, you shouldn't score 3 runs. I'm tired of the offense. Got to get going. Got to get these kids going. So anyway, brother, all the best, man. Thanks again.
Thanks for the call, Robbie. 888-808-1019. Yeah, for the Yankees, it's just super frustrating because I've been. What did I just say the other day? I'm like, they should have 24 wins. You can go back now. You can literally go back now. These games that they're blowing, like we can't afford to lose these games. I was listening to the pregame. I was listening to Garrett Cole talk about his rehab, and it was just putting me in a bad spot. I don't want to watch any more of these rain games. I don't want to deal with the rain affecting this team. This team is significantly impacted by weather. And they had one tonight, but then the weather gets them again. And it's not an excuse, but it is. Because, they need perfect conditions to throw strikes. I don't know, man. It's super frustrating because now that's a losing streak. You had to have that game. It's going to rain the rest of the week. You have Michael King going and Dylan Cease going. You're about to get swept. Are you about to lose 5 in a row at home? I don't know. They could. They very well could. It's annoying. And it's these are manager decisions, and these are just little things that guys aren't doing. And I don't know. I'm trying not to, I get it. Yeah, it's May 6th, but they should be better than this. This is the New York Yankees. You were in the World Series last year. Aren't you supposed to be hell bent on, being a champion and getting back to where you were? And it's just hard to believe. It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe. At least Volpe's back in the lineup today. And you feel better about that because you don't have to see the lineup with Peraza and Cabrera and Pablo Reyes and Yorbit Vivas, but whatever. They found a way to blow it anyway. And Trent Grisham, the performance that we're getting out of Trent Grisham is such a pleasant surprise. And that's a game that they should win. That's a game they should win. And they now have 5 or 6 games that they should have won this year. And you got to move on. You got to turn the page. But yeah, the math is the same. And I say this every season. The math is the same, right? That could be the difference between home field advantage in the World Series and not. That could be the difference between winning the division and being a wild card. So yeah, when we get there in late September, we're going to harken back to this Devin Williams experiment. And that's why I say I'm good on it, yo. I'm straight. It's just, it's too much with the beard policy. And I don't care about the beard policy. I can't grow a beard. I don't give a damn. If these guys can have beards or not have beards, I'm rooting for the Yankees regardless of whether they have beards or not. But there are some people still stuck on the fact that this guy has a beard and that he's the poster boy for that policy being changed. And he's not good. It's dumb, but people are holding it against him. And so you can't pitch him in Yankee Stadium because some of those people are sitting out there and they're not rooting for him. They're expecting him to fail. So when he is throwing a ball and not a strike, there are moans and groans. And he's just, I don't know, he seems feeble. He seems soft and he seems like he's not cut out for New York. But Boone is going to continue to say, this guy's been dominant. Yeah, he's been dominant in Milwaukee. This is not Milwaukee. It's nothing like it, actually. Rodon spoke after the game and they asked him about Devin Williams because Rodon can relate to being booed. Rodon can relate to going at it with fans and not performing well and having to hear it. But he said it's part of it. It's part of being in New York. If you pitch well, they're going to love you. They're going to pick you up. But if you don't, you're going to get booed. And he's had to throw way more pitches than we're asking Devin Williams to throw. How much can you cater to a guy? How much can you coddle a guy? How much can you try to find landing spots for a guy? Because it starts to throw off your entire approach to winning the game. Josh is in Passaic. Josh, you're on the Fan.
Hey, Keith, what's good, man?
Sorry, y'all. This is Devin Williams stuff is mad annoying because it's like you add this guy to the team thinking you're getting an elite closer. He's been nothing close to that. And so now you got to play these little games at the end of the game. Like, oh, is this a spot we can use Devin Williams? It should be, but there is no good spot to use this version of Devin Williams.
Oh, gosh, yeah. It's been pretty rough, you know. And the one's going to get, you know, who's your daddy band at some point. It's been pretty tough, you know. You could have been so great, like, you know. If only it feels like that the play was a year or two earlier, you know, you're saying with all those wins. And, you know, it's not just funny. You have a good point, though, with Williams, if you're pitching just like a regular, normal closer about a few games, is that I heard a guy call out a night ago, and he's like, I don't like how the Yankees are inconsistent. They'll score 15, and the next game they'll only score a few. Like, come on, if they score 15 every game, they'd be 162-0.
That is baseball, Susan. Like a lot of that's baseball, Susan. A lot of teams have huge outputs and then the next day nothing. And you know what? That also is based on pitching, right? That's the great thing about baseball, right? It's not a basketball team. It's not a football team where the guys just line up and the same guys are out there. Baseball is so dependent on the starting pitcher and the guys coming out of the bullpen, and it is different every single game.
But I do have a C-Max line, which is that is you're not going to say anything bad about Stanton until he doesn't perform in the playoffs. That's very smart. Everyone wants to get all jumpy on him, but you know, imagine when it counts. Look at the Knicks. Look at Bridges. You know, I remember Game 1. I told you that I was at some Pastor that game they're playing. Or no, Game 2 with the Pistons, and Bridges went up for that 3-pointer with a couple seconds left. I screamed out 5 first-round picks. Then he missed it. So this guy sent me a video tonight. You know, with that clip of him getting that steal with the 5 first-round picks, like all over it.
Yeah, and I mean, those picks are not going to matter. Thanks for the call, Josh. Like, the picks are not going to matter. He's already given you moments in this playoff run where you're like, that's worth a pick. It's worth half a pick. That's worth a pick swap. Speaking of picks, before we get to the next break here, breaking news from earlier that has to be discussed on the Fan. The NBA draft lottery is coming, but the NHL draft lottery happened. And your New York Islanders, yes, the Islanders get the number 1 pick. The first time since 2009. I was reading up on it, and I'm like, I got to talk about this. It was a 3.5% chance converted in dramatic fashion when ball number 13 came up in the first ever live drawing of the draft lottery. The winning combination, 7, 11, 12, 13, was one of just 35 that would have gotten the Islanders the top pick out of 1,001 total. And obviously, you guys know the Islanders are without their GM. They fired Lou Lamoriello last month. Big changes to come over there, but like, good fortune. I know we were talking about the All-Star game being at UBS and that being something, and that's not a thing. And I don't know. I'm not that deep into like my NHL fandom to know who the top pick is, but I think I was reading that too, and I clipped this from. I was looking at the New York Times and New York Post, so I'll give them credit for that. They said there's a clear number 1 in the New York Times. They said there's a clear number 1 for the NHL scouts in defensiveman Matthew Schaefer from the OHL's Erie Otters. Behind him is a well-defined group of forwards with NHL tools. So I guess this guy will be the clear-cut pick for the Icelanders. Good. Can some of that luck from Belmont Park go over to Flatbush and Atlantic to the Barclays Center so that the Nets can get a top 3 pick? I don't even need the number 1 pick. Can the Nets have the lottery ball bounce where they are right now, the 6th team? Can that, let me hit the sim lottery. I'm on Tankathon, like, all right, sim lottery, boom. Nope, just got the Nets at 6. Let's do it again. And wow, my second attempt has the Brooklyn Nets as the number 1 pick. Can we get some of that luck from over there at the Islanders arena to find its way to the Brooklyn Nets for the NBA draft lottery? 888-808-1019. That's Monday, May 12th. We'll find out what the Brooklyn Nets fate will be there. But again, I've watched Mikal Bridges as a Brooklyn Net I watched him as a Phoenix Sun. And like this is what I'm saying when you look at this Knicks team, yo. Obviously, these guys have their pedigree from college, championship pedigree from college, and that's different with the tournament. But like Mikal Bridges has gone through the playoffs and played in a finals. That is experience. OG Anunoby won with the Raptors. That is experience. Even Karl Anthony Towns, not for nothing, he has playoff experience from last year. He had moments. Jalen Brunson is ice cold. It doesn't make any sense, bro. Watching him play, I'm like, I don't know, like if it's the training, if what it is about, like he is so unassuming, and then he's just a killer. Josh Hart, pedigree from Villanova as well. So they have guys with experience in those crunch time moments, and they got an opportunity where they had to steal this game today. Porzingis goes down. The Celtics get tight. They go up 20, and I guess they get too confident. But then they're chucking up threes. They're giving you lanes. They're giving you a window. They're keeping you in the game. And OG hit shots. And Bridges made plays. And Brunson was the clutch player that we know him to be. Put the cape on again. And the Knicks win 108-105 in overtime. And you could say Kristaps Porzingis had 34 in regulation when they beat him in overtime, and that's going to change the series. But we don't know. Now we've got a series. Okay, I've got less than an hour left. 888-808-1019. Keith McPherson on the Fan. Call us up. We'll be right back. I think I'll sprinkle in some Mets. I think I'll sprinkle in some Mets in the next hour. Let me see what you guys are talking about in the chat as well. Man, look at this. We're about to hit 1,500 in the chat. That's crazy, bro. And I did see, I guess, who tweeted me the Aaron Gordon shot. That's insane. For 3. Bang. Yeah, it's nuts. My guy, Bourbon Meyer, Bourbon Legend. I see you on Twitter, and I know you're in the chat. I'm going to get with you in a minute. Thanks for sending. So confirmed Aaron Gordon with the 3 to win it. Let's see. Let's see what you guys had to say. For the first time I hopped on Boston radio after the game, and they were not neutral at all, quite pressed. Yeah, so like that's the cool thing about the Odyssey app. I don't know if the Red Sox are covered on WEEI, but you could hear their live reaction in Boston from the like I was listening to them today, and they were very cavalier about how this game was going to go tonight and how the series was going to go. Mo, what up, man? Williams is becoming a huge problem. Yeah, Ben. Gained a little more respect for Rodon coming back after a rain delay. Me too. That's another reason why I said this is a stupid ass game to lose. The way that they lost this game, and like what all the other things that went right for them, that you were able to get this game in the rain. You had a rain delay, and Rodon was able to come back out. Like you get a good performance out of him. This guy's turned a corner and play stupid games, win stupid prizes. That, like, I guess that's a spot for Devin Williams, but there's no good spot for Devin Williams. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Really, it's like you don't want like that's what I'm saying. The Devin Williams thing is a problem because now you're not just thinking about like, yo, put Fernando Cruz back out there. He threw 2 pitches. You're thinking about, okay, today the script and the plan is like we want Devin Williams to throw today, 3-run game. Like here's a spot for him against a good. Like I don't know. I'm tired of going to him, and it shouldn't be such a conundrum. It shouldn't be so much thought. Win the damn game, and there shouldn't be this thought of like, is this a good spot for Devin Williams? He was supposed to be the closer. He's not even in the closer spot. He's supposed to be the number one reliever in baseball. Now he's the number one problem you have, outside of the fact that your rotation is patchwork, makeshift rotation. What's up, Keith? I blame Weaver just as much. And don't get me wrong, Weaver gave the game up. But like, I give him a break because he was forced into duty a little bit sooner than he needed to be. All right, you got to go save this guy's bacon. Save the team's ass again. Come on, Luke. Be perfect every single time in the rain and a long delay. And like I said, this team is significantly impacted by weather. And when there are delays, it throws off their superstitions and their habits and things. And like, that's why I was surprised that they even had a 3-0 game. Like, I was expecting them to lose. I thought it was another scheduled loss. Weaver's job right there is to lock it down, and he allowed 4 runs on 4 pitches. Yeah, it is what it is too, but also like the Padres are good. Like it's not like we were playing the Marlins. Like, this is a good team in your building. Yeah, like you gave it to him late. Right, and that's too that he inherited those runners. Levi said, Nicholas, you can't put someone in and expect them to get everyone out, bases loaded. Like, he inherited Devin Williams' mess, and that's why I'm like not so mad at Weaver. Yeah, Weaver gave up the hits to lose it, but it's like I'm mad at all of them. Devin Williams, Aaron Boone, and the lineup score more than 3 runs. Come back and walk it off. You can't. You like what? Do we have one walk off this year? I don't think we have one walk off. Come back and score 2 runs. Yeah, both 10-point dogs went outright. Should have been betting on that.
Good morning at 1 o'clock. I'm Marco Belletti. Well, the Knicks showing no quit as they were down 20, but able to crawl their way back, and they shocked the Celtics in overtime, 108-105 to steal Game 1 in Boston. Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby, each with 29. Mikal Bridges had just 8 points, but a huge 3 in the overtime, and then a steal on the final possession to steal it. Boston, 15 of 60 from behind the arc. That's 25%. They set a new playoff record with 45 missed threes. Game 2 in Boston on Wednesday night. Nuggets had the game on a 19-6 run, including an Aaron Gordon 3 with 2.8 left as they stunned the Thunder 121-119. Mets able to hold off the D-backs 5-4. Edwin Diaz shut the door after Arizona played a 3 in the 8th. Francisco Lindor, a 3-run shot. Pete Alonso, a 2-run blast. Griffin Canning of the 5 solid innings allowed a run for his 5th win. Before the game announced, though, Jesse Winker out 6 to 8 weeks with that strained oblique. Padres scored 4 times in the 8th. They shocked the Yankees 4-3. 3 straight losses, 5 in 7 games for the Bombers, as Devin Williams faltered again, unable to protect a 3-run lead in the 8th, and Luke Weaver, unable to clean up his mess, wasted 6 2/3 scoreless put up by Carlos Rodon, and the Islanders won the draft lottery while the Rangers, they picked 12th. 58 degrees, cloudy skies at Central Park. That's what's happening. I'm Marco Belletti.
All right, here we go. Inside the 1 a.m. hour on the Fan in New York, Keith McPherson, your nighttime host, taking calls, talking sports. Quick show tonight. And I'm glad it is because the Yankees grind my gears, piss me off. And I don't want to spend too much time talking about that. Let's talk about the Make It Happen Mets. They do make it happen when they need it to happen. Going out to the desert to face the Snakes. Did you see the Diamondbacks' new City Connect jerseys? Their new City Edition jerseys? City Connect in baseball. I think it's City Edition in NBA. But either way, they're pretty sweet. I think they're probably the best ones. It goes back to like their 90s look with the teal and purple. But anyway, it did get a little crazy. Deadnail Nunez is back. And it did get a little crazy with him getting into the game. And then even with Edwin Diaz late. But all in all, Griffin Canning is 5-1. Griffin Canning gave up 6 hits, but only 1 earned run, strikes out 6. and that one earned run was on a homer. Corbin Carroll is like that. I excuse that. That was in the first inning. I'm amazed with like what they've turned. Griffin Canning is a poster child right now for what Hefner's laboratory could do for you. Like, I remember being on the Fan when that signing happened. I forget what other pitchers were available, but we laughed at that signing. I'm sure if you go to like SNY Mets on Twitter or maybe even the Mets account and you search like, the signing site, search Griffin Canning, maybe add sign, Mets sign, Griffin Canning. You can probably pull up that tweet when they announced that they signed him and read how many people were like, this is a joke. This guy sucks. Are we serious? They're dead ass serious. 888-808-1019. He's been good. He's been good. And the little bit that I saw of him with the Anaheim Angels when the Yankees faced him, I think the Yankees made him look like Cy Young, but they tend to do that. But I think another time they got to him. Either way, I don't really remember. I just know he wasn't really sought after. He wasn't a guy that we thought was going to come out and look like this with a 2.5 ERA, 5-1 to start the season. So if there's one thing that David Stearns can identify, we know if there's one thing that this pitching lab can do, they can take somebody and turn them in to the best version of themselves. 888-808-1019. Tyrone Taylor had a day. Lindor saves the day. Obviously, this guy, big homer late. Pete Alonso homered. Pete Alonso he's almost batting 350, 349, 1143 OPS. He's just getting closer and closer to the Mets all-time record. He's going to chase that down before he might chase that down before the All-Star break. He is everything you could want out of Pete Alonso after paying him. Paid Pete. He's been money. And Juan Soto, he had a knock today. 2 walks today. Not, tearing the cover off the ball, but so what? So what? It does not matter. Vientos had a knock. Francisco Alvarez late in that game. I think they reviewed it, and I might have started the show, so I'm not sure if it held or not. But he had a great throw to second. But all in all, the Mets hold on to win 5-4, take the first game from the Diamondbacks. The Mets are 23-13, still in first place. And, any given night, they show you why they are one of the best teams in baseball. And they have guys that are pitching consistently, and they have guys that are coming up big, like Tyrone Taylor, Mark Vientos. Obviously, Lindor and Alonso are like the 2 best hitters and players on the team, like faces of the franchise. Both of those guys go deep, but they're playing defense, and they're getting performances out of their rotation and bullpen from guys that are just regular players. They're not all-stars, but they get it done. 888-808-1019. Like I said, Dednil Nunez comes back. I think that was his first outing. And today we learn Jesse Winker is going to miss some time. And AJ Minter is done for the season. So we're hitting the part of the baseball season where injuries are happening. IL stints are happening. Guys are getting called up, sent back down. Brett Beatty is back. It is what it is. You got to overcome these things, and you got to figure it out. The Yankees have the same type of thing going on. Injuries. I had a thought today. I'm like, where the hell has Jake Cousins been? I meant to look that up. Like, Jake Cousins was a weapon for the Yankees. Kirk Cousins' cousin. And then he got hurt in spring training and, disappeared. I don't know. But 888-808-1019. Now, you look at this, going back to the Knicks. And we could talk Knicks. We could talk Yankees. We could talk Mets as well. Oh, and look, they have this Francisco Alvarez pop time. 1.82 seconds on the caught stealing in the 9th inning. It was just a huge play and a great throw. And Lindor with the catch and tag. But I want to know what you guys feel like now. Going back to the Knicks game, and enjoy it and let people enjoy things. Like, don't call up. And I know we had someone call and say, well, Kristaps Porzingis was out. Basically, leaning on, this game would have been lost if Porzingis was in and healthy. He changes the game. Do you feel like you're in a series, like the Knicks took this game and now it's a series, or do you feel like the Celtics team, with or without KP, they're talented enough to rip off the next 4 games or 4 out of the next 5 games? Either way, I think there's a series. I don't it's hard to win 4 in a row. It's hard to win. Now the Celtics will have to win the next one in their building, and then they'll have to come to Madison Square Garden on Saturday, stay the weekend, play on Monday, and then next Wednesday go back to TD Garden for Game 5. But like, are they going to be able to take they got to take 2 and 2? They got to take 2 in their building, 2 in Madison Square Garden to win in 5. And I think that's going to be tough. You know, what I also was talking about, the only pathway I saw for the Knicks to beat the Celtics was through injury, whether that's an illness that knocks somebody out, or like what I basically said was like all of their guys, and I went back to my notes, like Tatum had the wrist and he had an ankle. Holiday had a injury too. I think he might have had a knee. He missed he had a hamstring. It was Jaylen Brown who had a knee issue, and they're all healthy. They're all off the injury report, but like they just played a game to overtime. There's going to be some bumps and bruises. They're going to be a little banged up, and now it is Tuesday, but the next game, Game 2, is Wednesday at 7, and the Knicks have belief. Belief is needed. The fans believe. The Knicks believe. Do the Celtics believe that they're still the defending champs and that they're better than the Knicks? And that was just one game. I saw. I remember a few years back, and it was the first round. The Knicks, not Knicks. It was the Nets. The Nets Celtics series. No, Nets Sixers series. The Nets go down to Philly and they win the first game, and we get all souped. I think this was 2018 into 2019. We get all souped with that team. Like, they just beat them in the first game down in Philly. It's on. And then the Sixers go on and win the next 4 in a row. And it's like, it wasn't really a game. But if you look in the NBA, right, last night, without Darius Garland on the floor, I believe, and that changes. Like, if you're used to playing with one guy, it changes the dynamic, especially when it's heightened, when it's the playoffs and it's a higher level of intensity and the whistle is different. The Cavaliers at home, the 1 seed, they lose 121-112 to Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers. And the Pacers had a few guys in double digits. And they looked like they were ready. They looked apart. That's what I was saying when I was on last night too. Or when was I? I was on Sunday. I was saying, like, the Pacers, they have playoff experience. They've been here. Kenny Atkinson, coach of the year. His group, they got to regroup, but they lost that first game at home. We got a series now. The Celtics lost the first game at home in overtime to the Knicks. And then, I know I said earlier in the show, somebody in my chat told me Aaron Gordon, he did hit that 3 at the buzzer, or right before the buzzer sounded, for the Nuggets to take the lead. It was 119-118. Bang. 121-119. The number 1 seed Thunder lose in their building to the Nuggets, another battle-tested team, guys that have rings. They've done it before. This is the playoffs. The playoffs now are starting to absolutely cook. You got to love it. And that's something I was saying about, like, I love sports. I love basketball, the NBA, especially playoff time. There's some regular season games that you can miss me with because I know they're not really out there. They're not really out there hooping like that. They're not really out there playing. Like, no, these guys are playing their ass off. They're going after loose balls. They're really out there working and competing, and there's a lot riding on it. And if you can't just appreciate the storyline, like, if you can't appreciate the fact that the Knicks were world underdogs, the world expected them to lose tonight. They were down 20 in this game against the defending world champs. They played them 4 quarters, could have beat them in 4 quarters, just barely missed, and that didn't stop them in overtime from taking the game in Boston, quieting those fans. It's entertainment. It's cinema. It's like I don't watch movies. I don't watch streaming shows. I watch sports because it's in real time. These aren't actors. The storylines are playing out, and I don't think there's anything better than live sports. That's why it dominates the television. That's why there's all these battles with, these TV networks and the rights. To have these games, Brunson, clutch, absolute demon. I just like we've seen it so much. It's kind of crazy. It still surprises you though, like what he turns into in the fourth quarter when the game is on the line, when so many guys fail, when so many guys miss shots, turn the ball over. Some of the best players in the world, they don't have the mental toughness. They don't lock in. They don't have the focus. And then, I saw a quote from him on Twitter today, because he did smoke that layup to win it. And good pass from Cat. He was right there with Horford in his face. And Brunson said, not clutch enough. Clutch player of the year, but he himself admitted not clutch enough. What does that do to him? What does that do for him the rest of the series? Does he bring it? Is there another level he can bring it to? I don't know. But either way, enjoy tonight and tomorrow. I'm sure the fan will be lit all day, whether our hosts that believed or didn't believe or whatever. It doesn't matter who believes or who doesn't. Belief is needed from the fans. You're in the playoffs. Nobody knows what's going to happen, and that's why I always lean on. That's why we bet on this stuff. That's why we talk about this stuff all day. That's why we all watch and care because, man, I wish I had the balls to bet the Knicks tonight. I wish I even had the thought to be like, bet the Knicks. Like they were 8.5, 9-point dogs, and the underdogs came out on top. Mike is in Flatbush on the fan. What's up, Mike?
Thank you for taking my call.
You got it.
And he said that, and he also thanked his teammates in the post game. He's kind of won me over. I'm not a Knicks fan. I kind of follow casually, but man, and the dagger in the Pistons series I saw on social media. I don't know what account, but like it was like a floor, sort of from the floor angle, him taking that shot.
Yeah.
Kanye song comes in right.
Father stretched my hands. It was perfect. I saw it too.
Wow, for it's just he's making a lot of fans, and I also want to say, and credit to you for you're doing like scouting report on the media environment of the radio, what they're saying and stuff. So credit to you doing that work off schedule. I know you say sports is your life, and it's true. But Missoula talking about process. He's chill as a cucumber. And I'm curious, he said that there's, 5 to 8 to 10 shots that if he looks back, he would have a problem with. But man, if you miss 45 threes, he's not going to kill his players, but they cannot be missing that much next time. But he kept saying process, and that he liked the looks that they were taking. He's fun to watch too, but yeah, I mean, like I said, Jalen Brunson is just great, and Bridges is a monster. That steal is just, they wanted it. They played like a team, and they just wanted it more. That's not going to happen game 2. This is going to be a great series. Thanks, Keith.
Thanks for the call, Mike. Yeah, you know what I just thought about too? Bridges strapping up, putting the clamps, putting Jaylen Brown in jail at the end of the game, and then taking the ball and chucking it. I'm like, that's cold as hell. Like how boss that is to just like put the clamps on somebody in their building, call game, and take the ball and chuck it. It's it's just the highest level of competition. I can appreciate that. And like this guy's out there fighting for his respect, and he's got Knicks fans' respect tonight. 888-808-1019. And I mean, Brunson, yeah, of course he's gonna thank his teammates. They all helped in some kind of way. He gets all of the attention, of course. He gets all of the accolades and whatever. But like, he's a point guard. He's the difference. And like when you say, like Mike just said, like I'm not a Knicks fan. I'm not a Knicks fan too, but I am definitely a Jalen Brunson fan. And I don't know how many times I got to tell y'all he is the king of New York. I don't know how many times I got to tell y'all, like I saw it with my own eyes at Fanatics Fest. Okay, Judge wasn't there, but I've been at some places where Judge was. The reception that this guy got walking around, the line of people lined up to get an autograph picture with Jalen Brunson. I'm like, this dude is the most popular athlete in this city right now. He's the captain. He took less to be here. He grew up coming to games here. He spent time living in Jersey. His dad is a coach. It's just like it's a movie in real time. Um, and he's so like even when you see him do his roommate's podcast, and he was talking about the last series and how they were chanting flopper, and he singled out a fan, and like he's very like modest and like his tone, like he's like it almost doesn't match the player that you see out there. Like he's not Anthony Edwards, like the way Anthony Edwards talks, but I mean he's just as much of a killer. Now Joe Mazzulla's young. He's 36. Joe Mazzulla and I are same age. But Joe Mazzulla, I vividly remember him when the Celtics had that 20-point lead, they let up. They relaxed. And he got pissed off. But now I wonder, I'm like, if you remember, right, Ime Udoka was the coach of the Celtics, and he screwed all that up. And even going back, they had Brad Stevens. Joe Mazzulla kind of fell into this role. Is he a champion? Yes. And he's a little quirky as well, from his religious takes to his takes on life and stuff. But I'm like, let's see how his voice translates. Let's see how his voice is received or picked up here by guys like, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Al Horford. I think they're going to hear him, but you can't hear anything when Brunson has the cape on and you're starting to sink, and there's a killer over there that's not going to miss, and you're chucking up threes to try to match, and they're not going down, and you have an all-time bad performance. 888-808-1019. Live in it. Live in it. Don't get too far ahead. You have all day today to bask in it, and then when you wake up the next day, you're going to be worried like you were today about, like, I know I'm not even a fan, but I was like, I can't wait for this game to start. Like 7 o'clock in my house is bedtime for my son, and I'm just like, let's get him in the bath like at 6:55. Let's get him out, like, because I'm like, I got to lock in and watch this game. This is going to be an all-timer. I didn't expect the Knicks to get blown out. There were some points early in the game where I'm like, oh, they're overmatched. And then there were so many strategic things that the Celtics were doing. Like they were trying to get Cat in foul trouble. They were going to the hack-a-Mitch right away. I'm like, oh, they have a game plan. They have a good coach. Let's see the change in the next series. I'm sure, nobody is giving Tom Thibodeau his credit or his just due, but I'm sure he's going to have a plan. Him being a former Boston Celtic coach and spending time up there, I'm sure he's going to be ready too. It's going to be interesting, man. It's entertainment. It is, like I said, the Knicks are playing the best basketball, or at least the most entertaining games. And I watched Game 7 the other night with the Rockets and the Warriors, but ultimately I knew the Rockets weren't going to beat them. It was a good game, but I knew the Warriors were going to win, and like Jimmy Butler turned it on at the end. And, even with the Lakers series, I knew the Lakers. Like I blame Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp was doing all that Lakers in 5, and now Shannon Sharp had to disappear. What other series? I don't know. I think this Nuggets Thunder series is going to be good. I still expect the Cavaliers to beat the Pacers. They need Darius Garland. He is the difference. Just his pace, how he can take you off the dribble, how he can also shoot. He's fast. But yeah, I still do think that the Celtics win the series against the Knicks, but the series has completely changed. 888-808-1019. Coming up in a little bit, we'll do the big shot of the night. Big Mac is in here. He'll have a full 3 hours. I ended up having a 2-hour show trying to talk a little bit about the Yankees, a little bit about the Mets, and obviously keeping it on, the clutch performance by the Knicks. I haven't spoken enough about OG Anunoby. His defense, his defensive presence, but also him, shooting the basketball, and his offensive game. I think this is his highest scoring game of the playoffs. But what I was reminded is like, when Brunson was out, we've seen OG do this before. He hit 6 threes, and he just was there when you needed him. If it wasn't Karl Anthony Towns, okay, OG is turning up. If it's not Brunson, he's got OG there. So, I literally said too, and the last caller just gave me props for listening to WEEI. Like it is just funny to listen to other cities and other fans. We all get tunnel vision on our teams. but they were so cocky and confident. Even the young lady that they interviewed at the game, the way she was talking, she's like, "Oh, if it's Tatum on Bridges, it's barbecue chicken." And I'm like, they're completely acting like this is like, "Oh yeah, the Knicks, like no one expects the Knicks to win the series." And she said something along the lines of like, you know, we're expecting a sweep, but like people are being nice and like, well, no sweep now. Sweep is off the table now. Sweep is off the table now. The Knicks went in there and punched them in the mouth. And I hate the Boston Celtics, and I'll never root for Boston. Don't have to be a Knicks fan to enjoy that game, that first game, Knicks going up 1-0 last night. Mario in Long Beach, before we go to break, Mario, you got the bat line, bro. I hear you on the fan all day, every day, whenever you want to get on.
I get a retired banker, so I love sports, and I really
It's
get
awesome.
Paid, all that stuff.
You can tap in and chat with all the hosts, and like that's great. I'm not knocking it. I'm kind of jealous. That's why I'm like, this guy is on. I hear you talk to all of us. I heard you talk to Gordon Damer. I think I heard you talk to Evan and Tiki, or maybe you talked to BT today. I don't know, but I'm like, Mario's on it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I have some good points because I spend my time and I do my research and I really know my sport. So sometimes if I take up the task, if they say something that's wrong.
Respect. I respect it. Yeah.
And like I said, Evan was really funny because Evan was, and I got on the phone with him, he was giving Tommy a hard time about saying when Brunson first came into the Knicks, he said something like, Brunson's good, but he's not great. And now he put that on somebody's shirt. And I'm saying, well, listen, when Brunson came, everybody thought that. Nobody thought he was great. Let's be honest.
Nobody, the team that he left didn't think he was great enough to pay him.
Yeah, exactly.
He was a second round pick, and he was undersized, underrated, and still, like I said today, he's dirty. It's like some of the things that and I mean that in a good way, like he's filthy, like he's nasty, like some of the things I see him do, it doesn't make any sense. Nobody could have predicted this. Maybe him, maybe his pops. Like, and you gotta love that about a guy who wanted the challenge of like, I'm gonna play for the Knicks. I'm gonna put the Knicks on my back. I'm gonna put New York on my back. Like, I can carry it. I can shoulder this. I can be the guy.
Right, and what's great about tonight, Keith, that I noticed? They can win the series. Because you know what really made me feel good about tonight? Even though Brunson did what he did, the last 3 minutes of the regular game, and then overtime, he didn't score a point, yet they won. He went 9 minutes without scoring.
Yeah.
Now, usually in the past, if they did that, they had no shot to win. If he goes 9 minutes without scoring in the past, no shot. Step up really big Bridges. What defense, man?
That's what I'm saying.
This is what I understand. You tell me. Even though Detroit is nowhere as good, Boston is not nearly as tough as Detroit is. And I'll tell you, how did Jalen Brown let Bridges rip the ball out of his hands like that? It didn't even look like he was
tired.
The ball on his hands,
Tired because fatigue.
What about Bridges? Bridges played 15 minutes.
Oh, but he's Gumby. He's got a rubber body. He's a literal Iron Man. He played 51 minutes, and he even had the energy. That's why I said that was the coldest ending for him. Like how he threw the ball and like screamed, like call game. Like I watched him as a net. He didn't have that kind of energy as a Brooklyn net.
Yeah, but that's all the people who were saying it was a bad trade. Now they're changing their mind a little bit, right?
Yeah, because what matters the most to us here in New York, right? As much as we think Aaron Judge is the greatest player and all that, the story always comes to what he does in the playoffs. The conversation always ends with, hey, what has he done in the postseason? If you make the plays, the big-time players make big-time plays in the big-time games and moments. If you make those plays in the playoffs, we'll forget about the regular season. Thanks for the call, Mario. 888-808-1019. Last call for calls. Coming up next, big shot of the night. Keith McPherson on the fan. Don't go anywhere. I'm coming right back. All right. Who should be the big shot of the night? Lindor, Griffin Canning, Devin Williams. Just kidding. Checking the chat. Over 1,500. Make sure you guys are going to the YouTube too. The chat is better in the YouTube app. Shameless plug, McPhersonBrand.com for all things Keith McPherson and the McPherson brand. One day we're going to be bigger than prestige worldwide. One day we're going to be global. And somebody put something in the chat that I wanted to say something to. But there's so much in the chat. Let me just go backwards from where we are. Yeah, the same team that doubted Jalen traded Luka. Was it Nico who did that too? I think it was Mark Cuban who didn't want to pay them, but correct. Devin Williams, no. Brunson or Bridges. Bob, thank you. I appreciate it. Credit Tibbs getting production from Deuce and getting Jalen. Yeah. I didn't say anything about Deuce McBride, but tonight he also had his best showing. He hit 3 threes and had 11 points. Let's see. Cat's tip back was huge as well. Hoping he turns it around and catches fire from 3 this series. Shout out Mikel's defense too. Missoula's 36, going on 47. Speaking of clutch, you were coming on at the time. Jokic is otherworldly, 26 points in the second half, finished with 42. Wow. I'll watch the highlights when I get home. Knicks in 7, I believe, especially if Cat improves. I don't like how he drives. You probably got it. Just, all right. I was like, I know you were talking to Big Mac. Didn't know if you heard. Soto is the perfect piece in between Lindor and Alonso. The amount of pitches that pitchers have to throw. Justice Soto is stressful. It's not coincidence that both are. Yeah, they are feasting off of the fact that like Lindor is seeing pitches before him, and then even Alonso. So that's when I'm like, has Soto been worth the money? For Pete Alonso, for Lindor, yeah. No slow start for Lindor. And in another prove-it year for Pete Alonso, he's putting up MVP numbers. Knicks in 7, I believe. Cat improves. I don't like how he drives with his head down, predetermined to shoot. Yeah, sometimes he does that, and he doesn't get any calls. Love the Knicks' heart in Game 1. Hopefully builds their confidence going forward. It should. They should come out feeling like they can compete with these guys because they just beat them. Jared, I know, bro. Good to see you in the chat. We've all had it with Devin Williams because, like I said, Devin Williams' struggles and Devin Williams' problems are making our manager have issues managing the end of the game. There's no good spot for him. And in games that you should win, like you're like, I hate it. I hate the fact that like we got to find a good spot for Devin Williams. He's a closer. His spot was the 9th inning, but he couldn't effectively get that done. So stupid, man. These guys get paid too much money for that. You think the Pacers can out the Cavs? Not if Darius Garland come back. I'm frustrated about this loss. Yeah, me too. That's why I'm like, I'd rather just talk about the Knicks. Because, like, the Yankees pissed me off tonight. I'm like, I didn't want to be mad. I didn't think I was going to be mad tonight. That, like, the Yankees are supposed to win that game 3-0 or win it 3-2. So. Oh. Yeah, they never come back and win it. They've rallied some this year, but they don't come back and win it. They let other teams come back and win it. Mets, nice bounce back win, bouncing back from the doubleheader sweep. Mets hold on for the win, yes. Michael King, 7 Ks is plus 100 right now. Yo, get home safe, bro. All right, we're coming back here. The big shot of the night is brought to you by WFAN and me, Keith McPherson. Bright lights, big city, a bunch of big shots. And tonight we do got to highlight a bunch of these guys. But first, it's a guy that probably leads the league in big shot awards. Jalen Brunson, Captain Clutch, the Clutch Player of the Year, the King of New York. When he started cooking in that fourth quarter, I could smell fear in Boston, all the way from my apartment in New Jersey. I could smell fear in Beantown. They knew what was about to happen. And if that ball bounces a little different, Brunson beats them in regulation. He ends the night with 29 points. He hit 5 out of 9 threes. And I think he had like 3 of those threes late. So, the Brunson burner, he starts cooking late. And then I'm going to give this like an honorable mention, maybe a double shot to OG and Mikal Bridges. OG hitting those threes when the Knicks were down and they cut that lead, and they're daring OG to shoot the ball and he's knocking it down. Obviously, his defense on Tatum, his defense on whoever's got the ball, whoever he's got to guard. And then he ends up with 29 points, 1 steal, 3 assists, 4 rebounds, and plays 46 minutes. But I'm also giving love to Mikal Bridges because 51 minutes, leading everybody that played tonight with 51 minutes. It wasn't so much the 8 points. He had, made shots when he needed. His threes were big when they needed them. But 2 blocks, 3 steals, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, and just memorable moments. Strapping up Jaylen Brown to end the game, chucking the ball, stealing the ball, not letting it go out of bounds, and that leads to the OG 3-point play. So, yeah, all of those guys get to share the big shot of the night. And I'll even throw a bone to the Mets. The Yankees, nobody gets any type of accolades or respect over there. Disrespect completely. Stupid, dumb, mucho stupido in the last couple games for the Yankees. But for the Mets, after getting swept in the doubleheader and going to face a good Diamondbacks team in their building that they just lost back-to-back games in Citi Field to, you need to win this game. And Lindor blows the game open with a 3-run bomb in the 7th. And I got to give him credit because it's just like, we're in May now. So there is no slow April. This is a great start to the year for Lindor compared to other years. He's got 7 homers. He's got 7 homers. He's got 41 hits, 22 ribbies, and he just leads on both sides of the ball. And then also, like I said, Griffin Canning. It doesn't make any sense, but Griffin Canning is looking like an ace. Griffin Canning has a 2.5 ERA. Griffin Canning is 5-1 on the season. And yeah, that all comes from the pitching lab of the Mets. Who would have thought that Griffin Canning could turn his season into what he's turned it into to start right now? So 888-808-1019. I've got about 15 minutes left in this show. Last call for calls if you want to get anything in on the Knicks, on the Mets, on the Yankees, even the Islanders getting that number 1 overall pick. Do so now. Let's go to Jarvis in Harlem on the Fan. What's up, Jarvis? Good. How are you?
I'm good. I was just watching my Nuggets and what a huge win on the road and with a game with it 3-pointer. And I was just like screaming. I was like saying, Russ Wilson, do not take that shot. Just pass the ball to Eric on it. He took his game with it shot and still won on still game 1 on OKC on the road. That was a huge win.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was shocking. So want to talk about the Knicks and they still won in Beantown and home court. And the last call said that they're gonna win the series, but it's only 1 game. But you know what because the Knicks haven't been to the Eastern Conference Final since 24 years, and since 2000. Like since like and same day was the 72 that made the Eastern Conference Final in 2000. So so they got to the next guy is just win the series. So
Thanks for the call, Jarvis. I don't expect the Knicks to win the series, but they've already won a lot of respect. And, I don't expect them to win the series, but they won today. Again, when I was listening to WEEI, one of the hosts on the afternoon drive show claimed he was listening to WFAN. I guess he was listening to the morning show, but he claimed that, like, oh, we were already trying to soften the blow or make excuses or, make it seem like just winning a game was good enough for the Knicks. And I'm like, well, yeah, based off the regular season. But you know what? That's why I said belief is needed. And these guys are professional athletes and they don't get on the floor thinking, oh, these guys, like, they think these guys put their shorts on and their shoes on the same way as me. I remember I had a coach. He's like, yo, these guys put their pads on the same way as you guys. They bleed just like us. But what else? I did not give any props to Deuce McBride, who many people said needed to do something, get something going. He had 3 threes tonight, 11 points in his time off the bench. Also, I didn't really show any love to Josh Hart because what he does as a glue guy, what he does as just like a heartbeat of the team, as just an all-around contributor, it almost sometimes goes, I won't say unnoticed, but unspoken of. He had 14 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and he's just hustling and playing. And if you watch the game, you could see how much he's communicating and talking to guys. And like sometimes that goes, like I said, not so much unnoticed, but unspoken of. Obviously Brunson's going to get all the accolades and all the conversation, but Josh Hart, he adds a lot to this team as well. And it shows up in the box score, but you got to literally break it down to like all the little different things that he does, that he adds. And, he was a +5. Good win for the Knicks. Good win for the Knicks fans in the city. Good win for the NBA. I don't think they really wanted to see Cade Cunningham and the Pistons versus the Celtics. But I do feel like that series against the Celtics helped the Knicks. One, because they played more recently than the Celtics. The Celtics have been on ice for a few days and maybe literally been on ice for a few days because they got so many guys with bumps and bruises. And then also just having to play in a tougher, hard fought series, it just prepares you. It's like boxing. It's like sparring, right? Like you fight a guy and you survive that round against a guy that's a little like more of a bruiser. Like you get into a series or a match against more of a finesse team or finesse boxer, to make the analogy, and you're able to rough them up a little bit. You're able to, you're able to punch a little differently. You're able to battle a little differently. So, the thing about the Knicks too is like, it wasn't that they were playing with house money. I think they were very motivated. Like it motivates anybody when people tell you can't do something. It's got to motivate you when someone's saying you don't stand a chance. Like I said, these are NBA players too. They have 2 all-star starters. And, the Knicks are showing you that it isn't just, they're going to live and die by Karl Anthony Towns or Jalen Brunson. Like, it's Jalen Brunson almost all the time, but there are a cast of starters here, whether it's Bridges or OG or whoever. Like, they step up. They figure out who's got the hot hand or who's got to be the one to raise their game, and there it goes. It's funny. Abdul Carter says, I think I'm turning into a Knicks fan. That game had me hyped. Let's go, New York. Abdul Carter, he's been here for a whole week now, a whole week and a half now. Philly Bull, a young bull from Philly. He's supposed to be a whole Sixers fan, but now he's with the Giants. That's another thing I thought. I was crunching the numbers, pun intended. Abdul Carter should wear 51. He's an edge rusher, linebacker. I think when I looked at the Giants roster, 51 was available. Now, is that a sexy number? Nah. Is that a number that's going to sell too many jerseys? If you're good, yeah. It's available, though. I think you should wear 51. 5 for, like, linebacker, 1 because his last number was 11. But, yeah, when you actually look, like I actually went and looked at the numbers available for the Giants and their retired numbers, I'm like, there are no low numbers available. There's nothing like Jameis. I thought it was a little odd, right? Jameis Winston wearing 19. I'm not sure what Jackson Dart is gonna wear. I think he's gonna wear 12. Oh, and for the Giants fans that wanna get to know Jackson Dart, if you haven't watched the Gruden QB camp, do so. But also search Overtime. They have a day in the life that came out. I watched that today. Jackson Dart Overtime. I think if you just type that into YouTube, yeah, it came out 9 days ago, and the Gruden QB camp came out 12 days ago. I'm like, I want to get a feel for this guy. I want like pause, but like, I want to get to know. I've never really like watched him or watched an interview or seen his personality. I think he's an athlete. And he's a good little player here, a good quarterback here. I don't know what he's going to be in the NFL. I don't know if this is going to be a success or not, but honestly, it was Gio's rant that went viral, and Barstool posted Gio's rocking the Barstool golf. But the rant that Gio had, where he's like, "Oh, this guy's a pudgy kid from Utah," and like I did not realize that he went to the same high school. I think he transferred to the same high school as Zach Wilson, but I don't think this kid is Zach Wilson 2.0 coming to New York, and he is kind of pudgy. But, like, when you see him throw and run the ball, maybe they get him in the weight room a little bit so he's a little bit more ripped, like, but he's an athletic kid. He is kind of pudgy looking in his face and his arm and legs, but I don't know. I think Gio was just on one. Gio went in, and that take, it reached a lot of people, and we'll see what happens with Jackson Dart, but that one's gonna be hard to erase. That one, I think I saw it hit 1.5 million views. And it's a good way to get the views. But if this guy ends up being the franchise quarterback for the Giants, like that one's not going to age well. It's going to be like, well, it's not aging well. I remember Gio did the Boston Celtics leprechaun costume after the Celtics beat the Nets some years ago, or when they were playing the Nets. I think it was when the Nets got swept by the Celtics, and that image has popped up back on social media now that the Knicks are playing the Celtics. So don't let the Celtics come out with the gentleman sweep. That picture's gonna pop back up. The radio is amazing. Like, and I give a lot of credit to Tommy. I don't think he's gonna be correct with Knicks and six, but like popping up on the show and having the gall to believe in your team and call your shot like that, and then when they come out and they actually win it, like good for Tommy. Like I was happy for Tommy because the way he came in saying Knicks and 6 and really going for it today, I'm like, if they lose tonight, like you gotta wear that. At least you survive for 2 days and you're king of the hill, top of the heap. You're on top of the world. He's leading the Knicks fans with the positive Tommy, the power positivity, and the dudes, dogs, and the Knicks did some damage. Mike is in Thomason, Connecticut on the fan. Hello, Mike.
Hi, Keith. Thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome.
Now, I want to ask you about the Knicks. Well, I want to talk about the Knicks. Now, don't you think nobody thinks they're going to win? I'm a big Knicks fan, been since the late 60s. And don't you think that they're playing like free now because nobody thinks they can win?
Oh, yeah, the pressure is off. The pressure was on against the
I mean, the Celtics are going to look like,
the Celtics are the defending champs. Yep, and the Celtics have all of the hype. They already lost because they didn't sweep them, right? Some people expected you to sweep them. Well, that's not possible.
And they thought the Knicks were going to lose by like 20 points every game.
They were 8.5 point dogs. So Vegas had them losing by 9 today.
Yeah, and and don't you think the Knicks are like, okay, wait a minute, we're pros.
Yes, that's what I love about sports. That's what I'm saying.
Let's just go out and play.
All,
Don't you think they can play loose?
all of these guys, and that's why I went through like Mikal Bridges played in a finals with the Suns. OG Anunoby won a championship with the Raptors. Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, and Jalen Brunson won championships at Villanova. Like they all have this spirit in them, this competitive spirit and this championship pedigree. Even Karl Anthony Towns has played well in the playoffs before. Like when you hear all that outside noise and disrespect, you can't wait to step in between the lines to say, okay, none of that matters here.
Taking game one is huge. Now, I mean, if they could just stay competitive in game 2 and bring it back to the Garden. You know what I mean?
I think they will. And you know what I'm also leaning on? The only way I saw them having a potential series with the Celtics was if injuries or something came into play. Like today, Porzingis got sick and played 13 minutes. That changes their dynamics. That changes their approach. That it changes what they can do on offense, how they can attack. Porzingis had 34 points, and I think he hit 7 threes against the Knicks the last time they played. You eliminate that player, it changes things. No, of course not. But he did nothing today.
Yeah, and that's and the playoffs are different than the regular season.
Sure, it's heightened. The whistle's different.
I'm not saying we're gonna win. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's gonna be a competitive series.
Yes, it absolutely already is because the road team won the first game.
Yes, that's right. And I just and you're an athlete. When everybody thinks you're gonna lose, you're like, oh heck no.
There's no better juice. Like there's no better motivation than us against the world. That's why I said like the Knicks, they won every game in Detroit. They needed to feel that. When they're in Madison Square Garden, they're kings of the town. But when they go on the road, there's people like they're hating on them. They're chanting against them. They're rooting for them to fail, and they responded to that. Same thing tonight.
Same thing tonight, exactly. And that's why I'm glad I got my calling because I like talking to you because you're a sports guy. You live it like I do.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the call, Mike. I'm out of time. But yes, that's what I love about sports and not scripted shows and not movies. It's like, and that's why I said I wish I had the thought to bet them. I think I bet Peyton Pritchard's threes because his 3 pop, right? And he only had 2 threes. He was 2 for 5. His 3 prop to hit, I think he was like plus 500 to hit 4 and a plus 1,000 for 5. But yes, what I love about live sports and competition is nobody knows. That's why so many people are packed in that building. So many people are watching. And the spirit of competitors comes alive. When you're disrespected and you get to go out there and control what you can control, it doesn't matter what Vegas thinks. It doesn't matter what radio hosts say. It doesn't matter what people are tweeting. And that is riveting. That game was excellent. I was literally like, I didn't care about the Yankees and the rain delay. I'm watching the Knicks game because it was on. I had to watch it on HBO Max, so I had the Yankees on my like MacBook. I'm like, the Knicks have played the best games in these playoffs, and they play better on the road, and they respond to the hate and the negativity. And now the Celtics are the ones that have to respond. Now the pressure is completely on them. There's no pressure on the Knicks. They already won a game, so they're not swept. And like, yeah, you will play a little bit more loose and free knowing that, hey, we got the first one. It is what it is. And don't let Drew Holiday feel his hamstring now because he's pressing, or Jaylen Brown feel a knee, or Tatum's wrist, or Porzingis has an extended illness and can't go tomorrow. Like, that is how you sneak into a series and actually make it a series when you're the projected underdog. All right, I got to go. I'm going to go home and go to bed. But I'll be back tomorrow. Big Mac will get you guys through the night. Keep it locked right here. Keep McPherson on the fan. I'm out of here. Good night. WFAN, New York. All right, I got to go. And I got to get out of the way so Big Mac can do his thing. But we'll do this again tomorrow, yeah? 1625. So that's 1,625 live human beings in the chat. Thank you for watching. I need to start putting up like a end slate, man. I need to have an end slate. I meant to work on that. Yeah. Well, tomorrow. The end.